Their fistfights can rightfully be considered one of the most brutal and traumatic sports disciplines on the planet. But over the past few years, fistfights have become simply incredibly popular because it is in them that viewers can see bloody hacks and hellish knockouts. And in today's video, we will talk about the top 8 most terrible knockouts in the Top Dog Fist League. As always, bare knuckle, let's go. On the 8th place is a real old-school top dog fight between Gadzhi Navruzov and Tarnika Mamukashvili. At that time, Gadzhi was just starting his way in fist fights and had already managed to hold 2 fights where he won confident victories by brutal knockout. In the 3rd fight, league debutant Tarnika Mamukashvili, a basic boxer, a heavyweight who was supposed to bring competition to an undefeated knockout, came out against him. But Navruzov had his own plans for the fight. From the very first seconds, he began to put pressure on his opponent in the traditional manner, delivering sweeping side blows. And after a few seconds, Gadzhi knocked down his opponent with a strong left hook. Mamukashvili managed to get up and continue the fight, but Navruzov wanted to finish the fight quickly, and the knockout was not long in coming. The exact left side became cancerous for Mamukashvili. Another brutal knockout from Gadzhi, and the 3rd victory on the account of the Dagestani fighter. The closer we get to the top of the top, the worse and tougher the knockouts will be. That is why the 7th place was taken by Alexei Melnikov in the fight against Vladislav Surkov. Melnikov was on a series of 2 wins and 1 defeat, but the young prospect Surkov, who had already managed to hold 1 fight in the organization, completing it with a knockout in the 2nd round, decided that he was several times superior to his opponent in skills, showing his superiority with dirty words at a press conference. But Melnikov clearly did not agree with this. He immediately began to crush his opponent, and several times successfully hit with his blows. Surkov's main mistake was a high chin, for which he paid a heavy price. Melnikov knocked out his opponent with an accurate left side right in the jaw. Surkov managed to get up, but the condition was deplorable, so the referee decided to stop the fight. But on the 6th place is the confrontation of heavyweights, namely the martial arts veteran 41-year-old Evgeny Ganin. But Ganin's rival was the league's debutant, base boxer Razmik Galstian, who was 20 years younger than his opponent. The confrontation between experience and youth. Razmik was confident of his victory and wanted to prove that youth and speed would decide in this fight. But Eugene showed a real difference in level, because already in the 1st round he knocked out his opponent. After this fight, Ganin began to consider the main threat to all fist-fighting fighters. The 5th place of our top is occupied by the confrontation between Nain Davyudov and Anton Shipashev. Nain won 1 victory. He inflicted several serious cuts on his opponent, which is why the referee was forced to stop the fight. Anton, at that time, had experience in fist fighting. He played in another fist league, a hardcore fighting game, from where he left with a big scandal, and also managed to fight, where he lost by knockout to Rustam Asteroid. Nain Davyudov immediately knocked Shipashev down. But this was only the beginning of the beating. After the knockdown, Nain rushed at his opponent with brutal and uppercuts, and then knocked him down again, this time in the 2nd. But Shipashev miraculously managed to get up again, but it was not for long. A very cruel and death knockout was issued by Davyudov. Anton could not come to his senses for a long time. Nain asked him to pause in his sports career, otherwise next time it could end tragically. Either way, Nain won 2 more victories and was able to win the Top Dog belt. The fourth place is occupied by the fight between Valery Asabov and Mikhail Sukiasian. It seems to me that this fight can be included in the top of the toughest knockouts, but also in the top punishments for show-off, because Valery Asabov initially showed an underestimation of the opponent. Even at a press conference, he said that the fight with Mikhail is easy money. He repeated these words over and over again and claimed that he would defeat his opponent. I can tell you that at the beginning of the fight Asabov worked well at a distance and easily interrupted Sukiasian and continued for 2 rounds, and in the third Mikhail had a large cut under his eye, which is why the referee stopped the fight so that the referees would heal Sukiasian. Asabov was already mentally celebrating the victory, forgetting that there was still half a round ahead, but a professional boxer is dangerous until the last second of the fight. With the most brutal right punch, Mikhail knocked out Valery. As for me, Asabov served as a vivid example of the fact that you need to be focused and collected until the end of the fight, otherwise you can pay very hard. At the top 3 of the most terrible and cruel knockouts opens with a duel between Vlad Tuinov and Vitaly Kovalenko, which took place at the confrontation between 2 fist leagues. Everyone expected a bright and competitive fight from their fight, but this did not happen. Vitaly Kovalenko was not ready for tough pressure from Tuinov. He missed heavy blows over and over again and even fell into a knockdown, but still managed to survive until the second round. Tuinov came out even more charged for the knockout. He smashed Vitaly, punching hard blows, then in the body, then in the head, after which Kovalenko could barely stand on his feet. And then that very moment happened. Vlad Tuinov sent Kovalenko to a brutal knockout. Vitaly fell unconscious as this knockout exceeded all expectations and adequately opened our trio. Sergey Kalinin versus Timur Akimov. Both fighters had one fight in the top dog, in which they won a landslide victory. This confrontation was one of the most anticipated. Strength in the person of Kalinin and technique in the person of Akimov. From the first seconds of the fight, Kalinin began to put pressure on Akimov, shortened the distance, and started the exchange. The first round was very close, but over time it began to seem that Kalinin's endurance was over. But as it turned out, Sergey did not need endurance, because then something happened that forced the audience to close their eyes.
Вот посмотрите, по-моему, Кратос начинает испытывать проблемы с дыханием.
Sergey Kalinin hit with a right hook and shook Akimov, after which he repeated the same blow. I don't know how after this Timur's head was still in place. Personally, when watching the fight, I felt all the pain of this blow through the computer screen. Then we came to the top of our top, Marcel Kanov versus Vladislav Romashchenko. Romashchenko in his debut sent his opponent to a deep knockout, and he had no opponent for the second fight, as many as 8 fighters refused to fight with Vladislav. Romashchenko from the first round began to smash Marseille. He hit accurate punches over and over again and even managed to knock Marcel down, but still Kanov reached the second round. It seemed that Marcel had no chance of winning at all. As soon as the second round began, Romashchenko began to play with his opponent, striking in a playful manner, and all the spectators were waiting for a bright end to the fight from Vladislav. But it was not he who finished the fight brightly, but Marcel Kanov. With the exact combination, Kanov sent Romashchenko to such a tough knockout that he could not recover for a long time. This knockout can be called a Hollywood ending, or the return of the year, because Marseille, losing the fight from and to, did not give up, found the strength, and knocked out his opponent.